речник Міністерства оборони України Вікторія Кушнір. І далі у нас на скайп-зв'язку речник штабу АТО Серgiy Danylenko. Прошу.
Hello everybody, we start our working day, and first to speak will be Viktoria Kushnir, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Good morning, dear journalists, good morning all present. Yesterday to the Chief Military Medical Clinical Center, Marina Poroshenko, the wife of the President of Ukraine, and their children came to visit wounded fighters. At the moment, the traumatological department of the hospital hosts heavily wounded fighters who took part in battles at the Baltsovo, Shasta, and in the vicinity of Donetsk airport. The visitors have given to the fighters Easter presents and expressed words of support to the military heroes. In the zone of the anti-terrorist operation, in spite of this quiet situation, the military personnel of the Armed Forces of Ukraine have marked Easter according to all the Christian traditions. The defenders of the motherland, who are now in the hottest spots of the front line, were greeted with congratulated on the Easter by local residents and representatives of volunteer organizations. The repair units of the military forces of Ukraine continue to restore military equipment for the Ukrainian army. Over the last week, they have restored 248 vehicles, including 31 tank and armored vehicles and 217 cars. The Commission of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine continues its work on bestowing the status of the participant in the combat action to the military of armed forces. By the end of March 2015, over 19,000 military personnel and workers of the armed forces were recognized participants in combat action. I'll remind you that according to the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers, there have been changes to the order of bestowing such status. The decision on bestowing the status of the participant in combat action is being taken by the Commission of the Ministry of Defense, which gives a better opportunity to urgently consider documents and adopt decisions. Any arguable questions are being also considered by the Interdepartmental Commission. The application for the supplication for the bestowing of the status of the combat action participant is within the responsibility of the commanders of military units. And also a military person can independently apply to the Commission, filing the original certificate and other documents that corroborate his direct participation in anti-terrorist operation. These documents they have the right to get in their military unit. This week, the presentation of a new project for the system of medical provision of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, named e-Health, will be conducted. The pilot project on the creation of the medical information system of the Armed Forces of Ukraine will be introduced in 3 military hospitals in Kiev, Kharkiv, and Irpin, and then in others. This program will embrace the electronic history of the disease, the results of diagnosis, and other information on every patient. The project is being implemented with the help of the leading clinic of Estonia and with the participation of the coordinator of the organization, the Center of European Integration and Development of Ukraine. This week we'll see the briefing of those organizers. Last week, during his working visit to Mykolaiv and Odessa regions, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine visited a soldiers' canteen at one of the training grounds in Mykolaiv region, and he at once saw that there are anti-sanitary conditions and the quality of meals is poor. He ordered to launch a service inspection in order to bring to responsibility any officials that may be responsible. The Minister of Defense also initiated the creation of a working group from the volunteer storm force and the military in the Ministry of Defense to inspect all the military actions and testing grounds of armed forces so that the fighters have normal conditions for their food. The citizens of Ukraine continue to help our military, and because of the over 3,370,000 hryvnia have been sent to the accounts of the Ministry of Ukraine from citizens. And the Ministry of Defense and the Commandment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine are sincerely grateful to all the concerned citizens who took part in this action and who continue to provide support to Ukraine's armed forces. Thank you for your attention, and now I give the floor to the officer of the press center of the headquarters anti-terrorist operation, Lieutenant Colonel Sergiy Danylenko, who will tell you about the events in the anti-terrorist operation zone. Hello. On the 13th of April, from 6 p.m. until midnight, the Russian terrorist troops of the so-called DNR and LNR continued armed provocations, conducting firing and shelling of the positions of Ukrainian troops. The bandit formations have 26 times violated the regime of silence on the demarcation line, mostly with the use of mortars, including in 8 cases mortars of the caliber 120 millimeters. The tensest situation is in Donetsk region, where the enemy have conducted intensive fire in the direction of our positions from mortars, tanks, anti-aircraft cannon, automated grenade launchers, and small firearms in the vicinity of Pisky, Avdiivka, Opytna, and also mine Dutovka. From 7:20 to 9:10 p.m., the enemy have shelled from artillery caliber 122 millimeters our positions next to Avdiivka and Pisky. Besides, in the vicinity of Avdiivka from 10 to 11 p.m. during the shellings, they have used incendiary ammunition. In the vicinity of Mariupol, the night of Monday was without shellings and firings. In Luhansk region, the enemy have twice fired at our stronghold from the small firearms next to Starый Aidar, and next to Sukhodol they used mortars of the caliber 120. In Luhansk region next to Mariupol, our military have detected 8 flights of enemy drones. Unfortunately, 2 teenagers were wounded by the Russian and terrorist troops while they were using mortars of caliber 120. And I have to emphasize that the enemy tries to deceive local residents about peaceful intentions of Ukraine, which is ready to peacefully settle the conflict, but the militants try to blame Ukraine for combat action and firings and all the things that continue in Donbass. There are no questions. Thank you. Talk to you later. The briefing is over. Goodbye. And our next briefing is by Colonel Andrei Lysenko, anti-terrorist operations spokesperson. It will be here at 12:30. Thank you. See you there.